तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. The nectar of thy words revives the scorched spirit of the human beings. They are the life of the holy and they purify the sinners. To hear them itself is auspicious and peace generating. They are the real givers who spread thy name far and wide. Om. Welcome to the Friday scripture class. And today's scripture is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And we're going to start a new chapter, chapter 22, on page 427 of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The chapter is entitled Advice to an Actor. And it was in 1884. The conversation was recorded in 1884, May 24. It was a Saturday. Let us see how he describes about the incidents that day. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small couch in his room. Rakhal, and several other devotees were present. A special worship of Kali had been performed in the temple the previous night. In connection with the worship, a theatrical performance of the Vidya Sundar had been staged in the Nath Mandir. The master had watched a part of it that morning. The actors came to his room to pay him their respects. The master, in a happy mood, became engaged in conversation with a fair-complexed young man who had taken the part of Vidya and played his part very well. So this is the setting. It was the actor was playing in the drama theater called Vidya Sundar. Vidya Sundar is medieval Bengal drama composed by Bharat Chandra. It is based on a Sanskrit drama of 11th century. And there the story of a devotee of Mother Kali. He had some boon and he wanted to marry some princess. So Mother Kali had given him boon that he will get married to the princess. You go there. And that's how by mother's grace, he gets to marry the princess like that. And the Vidya Sundar, the actor is Vidya, and the prince was princess was Vidya, and the prince was Sundar. So prince was from other country. So this prince, divine mother's devotee. So this is all about devotion to divine mother, and with some fulfilling some wishes of this young man. So this actor whom Sri Ramakrishna will speak, he was playing the role of Vidya, the princess, not the prince. So that time, the many theaters were done by only men will play the part of women. But this actor Sri Ramakrishna liked. He was a person of knowledge, good questions, good conversation happens. And Sri Ramakrishna had gone in the morning to Kali temple. It was Phalaharini Kali Puja, which we call Shodasi Puja. On that day in 1972, in 1872, Sri Ramakrishna had worshipped Holy Mother. So it is 1884, 12 years after that incident, worshipped Holy Mother in his own room. So on that special occasion in the month of May, Kali Puja is generally in the October, November time. But here it is in month of May. So this is called Phalaharini Kali Puja or Shodasi Puja, where Divine Mother is worshipped as Tripura Sundari. So Phalaharini means not eating fruits. Phalaharini means who removes all the fruits of action that she removes and makes you free from all the fruits of action. That's what the Phalaharini is. And Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on a small couch. It was not a couch. It was just a wooden plank. There are two wooden planks still there in Sri Ramakrishna's room in Dakshineswar, is well maintained by the temple. There was a little bigger and little higher bed where he stayed, where mattress is there and a pillow were there, and just adjacent to that with another little small plank of wooden plank, little less in height, and Sri Ramakrishna used to sit there and talk to the devotees. That is called, in English they call couch, to make it understand how we make understand to the people. So Sri Ramakrishna was seated in the couch. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning. The actors had all come to pay respect to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna had gone to, he didn't go to see the theatrical performance. It was being done in Nath Mandir. If you have gone to Dakshineswar, you know the Nath Mandir, from where you see Divine Mother. So there, the play was there, being played there. And so Sri Ramakrishna had gone in the morning, early morning, to see the worship, because it is whole night worship. And there was, towards morning, later half of the night, there was theater. Generally, this night worship time, there is a system of doing some play, a theater, because that will keep the people awake. Theater related to the Mother Kali. You remember Sri Ramakrishna himself was playing the role of Shiva in his village. So Shiva will come and dance, and there will be stories of from Shiva Purana that will be done, and people will watch and keep awake all night. That is the idea of this theater on this day. So the theater was there, and it was Vidyasundar, devotee of Mother Kali fulfilling his desires, his wish. And Sri Ramakrishna had gone and he saw drama was being done, and he stayed there for some time and watched a portion of the theater, the drama, in the Nath Mandir, or the prayer hall of the Kali temple. And they had come. Master to the actor, your acting was very good. If a person excels in singing, music, dancing, or any other art, he can also quickly realize God, provided he strives sincerely. So some qualities mind is already tend to work in perfection, and if that mind is set for God realization, then there will be success. So that's what the mind is one. How you train it to achieve something, and that's only you have to turn it towards God realization, and you can realize God. And it was all very good. And Sri Ramakrishna continues, just as you practice much in order to sing, dance, and play on instruments, so one should practice the art of fixing the mind on God. One should practice regularly such disciplines as worship, japa, and meditation. So completely he asks, he's saying how one can realize God. Because when these actors and the party, the theatrical party, have come to Sri Ramakrishna, they want to listen some holy words, something that connects them to God, not to talk about other things. So naturally, Sri Ramakrishna is also conversing around about that part, that how one can realize God. So you have already learned to train your mind to excel in music, dance, and songs, singing. So if you could put your mind in the thoughts of God, the same mind, one can realize God. You have already advanced to train the mind in one direction. Just the direction has to be changed. So Sri Ramakrishna is inspiring this person so that he gets a taste of bhakti or love of God. So because he found him, he had that quality. Then he asked, "Are you married? Any children?" Remember this question he also asked AM also when he came. Are you married? He said, yes, I am married. I said, we have children? So he said, yes, we have children. Oh, Ramlal, he got married. And also he said, Ramlal, he had children also. The AM thought, what wrong did I do? So in having this marriage and children, that's quite normal thing. So he was embarrassed because Sri Ramakrishna shouted at called Ramlal, was as if he was surprised. Then he explained why he was a little surprised to find Yam married. He said that I see a very spiritual qualities in you, and because now you have become a householder, so those qualities difficult to fructify, or to reach the spirit goal of spiritual life is difficult for you. You are already entangled in worldly life, lot of responsibilities. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna was thinking. But Yam excelled by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. Being a householder, he became the knower of God. Hmm? He became the knower of God with all the responsibilities of his household, and a certain thing was there. So, like that, Sri Ramakrishna had said to him. Here also, he said, "Are you married? Are you children?" Because he was not very old. He was a young person. Actor. Yes, sir. I had a girl who died. Another child has been born. Master. Ah, a death and a birth, and all so quickly. You are so young. There is a saying, my husband died just after our marriage. There are so many nights for me to weep. You are no doubt realizing the nature of worldly happiness. The world is like a hawk plum. The hawk plum has only pit and skin, and after eating it, you suffer from colic. You often give the example of hawk plum or amra. It's called amra in Bengali, the fruit. It has got big pit. Pit is the one seed that almost covers the fruit, like you have pit in date or you have pit in prune. This seed, one seed filling the almost whole of inside of the fruit is called pit. So seeds are generally small seeds in tomato. So this pit. So amra also like that. But like date palm has a skin, thick skin and little flesh, and prune is also fleshy. But hawk plum or amra is a fruit where only skin is a thin skin layer, and inside is all seed, all that pit. So he said that world is like a hawk plum. So there is not flesh, nothing to enjoy. It's very hard, difficult. That's what the hawk plum. And little taste is there after this sour taste. Hawk plum generally they make chutney of hawk plum. So this amra. So amra, there is it is little sour, and that is the only taste. Otherwise, all is that stone or whatever you call, pit or seed, whatever you call. Only that thing is there. He says you enjoy a little, but very little joy is there. All is very hard and stone-like, very difficult. All is difficult. And he says, though you enjoy a little, but if you enjoy, there is colic pain. So there is suffering of the result of enjoyment. That he compares that with the world with Hawklam. Sri Ramakrishna's some examples, some similes are very original. I think it is very original Sri Ramakrishna thing, Hawklam, Amla. So we don't find in other scriptures, Puranas or Vedas, this Hawklam thing. As I think it is his original idea of Hawklam, the world, comparing the world to Hawklam. About the husband died and after our marriage, and there are many nights for me to weep. So husband had died, and he doesn't approve of she only weeping for husband. She says husband has died, now you have become widow. Now you should change your mind towards God instead of weeping only, oh, my husband died, my husband died. Now the situation has changed, so utilize the time best. Now there is a freedom from samsara. Be spiritual. But the woman will say, now I can cry many nights, I can weep. Still in samsara, though miss the thing, the husband is not there. But still mind is engrossed in samsara and will lead, oh, all are enjoying so much and I don't have a husband. There is nothing. There is a something is you can take it as the blessing. Now you are alone and you can practice your sadhana. You can be devoted to God when that situation has come. Now God wants you to be spiritual. That's why this thing might be there. Take it that way. Not that you will be always weeping for many days. There are so many nights I can weep. Not that way. So, but there is a saying like that. So here also he said that when a girl had died, what Sri Ramakrishna wants that when samsara doesn't show its real face of separation, bereavement, death, then that you should utilize for something spiritual, something getting something that is really joyful. So for that, the actor's daughter died, and again another person has died, is born. So that is it. Death has come, and still you didn't get any message from that, and there is another child. Sri Ramakrishna said to, Holy Mother was talking. Holy Mother wanted, as a thing about the children was there. And Sri Ramakrishna, who are children? Children, so many children die, and so much suffering is there after children die. A child dies. Then Holy Mother says, do all children die? Some may die, some survive. They say, oh, whom I am talking is? He is such a intelligent person, and he said, and he blessed him. Though you may not have from your womb the children born, but you will find such children in your life will call you mother. And her mother also sometimes said, Holy Mother's mother, oh, she cannot call someone child. She will not hear the word mother from other people. Sri Ramakrishna said, there will be so much people addressing Sarada as mother. She will be tired of that. So many people will be doing. And Holy Mother also, she said, you will have so wonderful children will be there, will call you mother, who one can get only after doing great tapasya in a previous life. You will have so wonderful children. Rakhal, Naren, Babu Ram are all the children, and Yam and all other great children of Sri Ramakrishna. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna is saying to, was little saying that thing about the death and birth. From the spiritual point of view, but what he is saying is he did not always say that you should renounce everything and you should devote yourself to the spiritual practice. But he sometimes he said, don't change yourself. The Girish Ghosh and Yam are the example. Girish Ghosh wanted to renounce. He wanted to become monk. And Sri Ramakrishna, no, go on doing, writing theater, do the acting, spread the message of God. And to Yam also was very eager to renounce. He was tired of this life of samsara, tired. So much of difficulties and in relationship with his own father and stepmother and all that. So he really wanted to become renounced. Sri Ramakrishna, no, you mend your relationship with your father and live happily with him. Try to adjust with the people. That's how you should do. And father is not a less thing. So all he said, and he asked him not to renounce, not to and take care of your children and wife. So that was Sri Ramakrishna saying. To some like Narayan, and Narayan said, is renunciation necessary? He said, yes. If you want something that is kept above the other, putting the hand one hand above the other. If you want lower hand to get the lower hand, you have to remove the upper hand. Then only you get the lower hand. So you renounce the world, then you get God. That's what he said to Narendra. Though renunciation is definitely an easy way to progress towards God. But for those who can afford it, who are able to do that, but not for all. All have to renounce mentally. That's why I said be detached mentally and think of God and that detachment, practice of detachment, anasakti, as the Bhagavad Gita says. Bhagavad Gita doesn't say renounce the world. He said practice anasakti. Don't be attached and don't think that anything is yours. That wife is mine or husband is mine or children are mine. That's it. They are all God-given gifts to me, and I have to serve them properly. And that is my worship to God. That becomes spiritual progress for those who are householders. But for those who can renounce, they can renounce and try to find if they can devote themselves fully to God. So he says about this hawk plum world, he compares with the hawk plum or amra. Sri Ramakrishna continues, you are an actor in the theater. That's fine. But it is very painful profession. You are young now, so you have a full round face. Afterwards, there will be hollows in your cheeks. Almost all actors become like that. They get hollow cheeks and big bellies. So acting goes on, age develops, and then one grows old. Then naturally, when you are old, the teeth are gone. Then the teeth is the one that gives shape to our face. When teeth are gone out, there was not much system of having dentures and all that. Teeth is gone, then the cheeks go inside, hollow cheeks. And no exercise, always busy in acting and all that. Already grown, old, still acting going on. Then belly becomes bigger, bigger middle portion, So that's what generally actors happen. That way, Sri Ramakrishna says. But anyone who doesn't do exercise, doesn't do yoga, is tend to become big belly and hollow cheeks if you don't have that. So if you grow old, that is quite natural. So, but Sri Ram, what happens with these actors? He says because these actors, though they are old, they always look for an opportunity to do the acting whenever opportunity comes. So they will not give up the acting, though they have become old. Still, they will do the acting, looking not that great in age and do the things. So they are often seen as having the hollow cheeks and big bellies, that Sri Ramakrishna says. And time changes. He's saying to the actor that you will not be always that. Aisa din nahi rahega. This too shall pass. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna says. This too shall pass. And all laugh. Why did I say to why did I stay to watch your performance? I found the rhythm, the music, and the melody all correct. Then the Divine Mother showed me that it was God alone who acted in the performance, in the roles of the players. His was this when he went to see watch Girish Ghosh acting. That is after this. Girish Ghosh he met in 1884. He went there to watch that Chaitanya Leela. And there also he saw the acting, enjoyed tremendously. And then went after the acting was the drama was theater was over. He went to green room where the acting was because it was paid and it was what you call that theater, professional theater. So there were men and women both were acting. The one who was acting Chaitanya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu man, that was a woman actually. That was Vinodini, very famous actor of that time. So reversal of role, woman playing the role of male and male playing the role of woman. That was very common. So in generally in these temples and all that, it's all male playing the role of women. So there also he went to green room and blessed the Nati Vinodini, putting his hand on her head, and may you be enlightened. And I found today the role you are playing and that actual person the same. Like I saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all singing and Harinam and all that. I saw God here. Here also he said, a holy divine mother showed me that this is all God playing different roles. See that. And he had gone just to have the darshan or to see the divine mother, to visit the temple. And he saw theater going on. That's how it was. Then why did I stay? Because it was perfect. Rhythm, music, and melody and acting was all beautifully done. So I stayed because you were perfectly doing the thing, Vidya Sundar theater there, actor. Sir, what is the difference between lust and desire? Kama and Kamana. So lust and desire, what is difference? He asked. Now comes the spiritual thing. He has some spiritual questions. So Master, lust is like the root of the tree, and desires are branches and twigs. So that what is seated deep in the heart of person is the lust. So lust manifests as the desire to acquire, to enjoy the things. So lust is very much in the person. Desire is often it comes by when the senses attached to the object, sense objects. So, so lust is the root cause of desires becoming strong, and the desires are fed by the lust that is in the person itself. So that's what it says. Lust is the root, and desires are the branches and the twigs, all that spreads. So lust manifests as desire to enjoy so many things. So that's the difference between kama and kamana. He says that. So kamana, vasana. Sometimes you say kamana, vasana. Sometimes kama and kamana. That's what he said. So that's what the difference. Now Sri Ramakrishna says, because that was his question. Now he says, one cannot completely get rid of the six passions, lust, anger, greed, and the like. Therefore, one should direct them to God. If you must have desire and greed, then you should desire love of God and be greedy to attain him. You must be conceited and egotistic, then feel conceited and egotistic, thinking that you are the servant of God, the child of God. So, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. The lust, greed, and lust, anger, greed, then delusion, the pride, and jealousy. These are the six passions which often he described as six alligators. Those devoured a person. Person is destroyed by these, and these are all in the human being. They are born with all these things. So they need to be controlled and should not be swayed by these passions in one. They are like the enemy that is already within us. So that is Sri Ramakrishna said, how to conquer this enemy? It is already there in us. So how to get rid of this? How to be free from that? And they destroy human being. They devour the alligators will eat of human being. Sri Ramakrishna, when he was saying the alligator story, he said, smear turmeric before going into the river where alligators are there. So seeing the turmeric, the alligators will not come to you. And what is turmeric? Devotion to God. When you have love for God or rely on God, then you can save yourself from six passions that are already within you. And here he says, you do the U-turn of all your passions. Passions are already there, they don't get rid of, they don't go away. Then what you do? You turn your passions towards God. So lust, greed, anger, you all give to God. So if you want something very strongly, the desire to have God in your life, have the vision of God, to realize God. And if you are greedy, you're greedy of God, not of other things. So like that. Anger to God. Why are you not showing yourself, revealing yourself to me? Like that. And if want to be proud and you want to be of ego, be proud that you are a devotee of God. Or if ego you have, I am a devotee of God, that sort of ego. Always he inspires that if you say I am a devotee of God, that sort of ego will make you fanatic. So yes, there is danger of being fanatic, no doubt. But fanatics are those who really don't have love for God. They do not know what God is. God is the soul of every being. If we are fanatic of and think that this type of little pride in that I am a devotee is a very great savior. I am a devotee, that's why I cannot do such type of things. Wrong things I cannot do. I am a follower of Sri Ramakrishna, that's why I cannot tell a lie. So that one person was coming to Canada, and the people asked at the border, the person asked, "Have you brought?" It was summertime, July, August. He asked, "Have you brought mangoes?" Because generally all parents buy mango. Then he cannot say he had brought some mango. So now, because he is a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, he cannot say no. And because he is a householder and brought some mangoes for grandson, he cannot say yes also. If say yes, they will throw it away. If he say yes, no, it will be falsehood. So what to do? He found out a way. He said, then he asked, have you brought mango? He said, mango? Ha ha ha. He didn't say yes or no, like that, because the person knew, border officer knew that this time the all coming people coming from all flights coming from India, they will bring mangoes. That time there were not so many mangoes available here. Nowadays you find all the varieties of mangoes in Canada. You don't have to bring, just you have to pay more money, and that you get the mangoes here. But still some have mangoes. I know the story of a person he was going to Austin to meet his daughter and his grandchildren. So he brought few mangoes that was grown in his plant, in his tree, in his garden. So he brought that and he declared, he said, have you brought mangoes? He said, yeah, I brought two mangoes from my tree. So the officer said, you cannot take mangoes, this is all against our rule. You cannot take the fruits brought from outside. So she said, but I brought only for my grandchildren. I'm not going to use it. There is nothing doing. No, I cannot allow this. So there was long discussion going on. That person was also not letting go, and this grandfather also very much praising that. Finally, the officer lady said, "If I allow Mango to go with you, I will be removed, fired from my duty." So when he said that, okay, then I don't want. So he gave up. But he was very proud. He praised the system and the integrity of that officer. That even with my pleading and all those things, sentiments of grandfather and grandchildren, she didn't move from her duty, from what is right, and that he praised that father. Like that thing often happens that. Pride makes you feel that I cannot tell lie, I cannot be greedy, I cannot misbehave with the people. I'm a devotee of God. How can I misbehave? I am a devotee of Krishna. How can I say harsh words to other people? So Krishna is all love. So that type of pride, Sri Ramakrishna says, is all this pride in becoming a devotee of God, and angry to God for not revealing Himself like that. That he says, you turn to all your passions towards God instead of for your own enjoyment. You give U-turn. That way, God is always in your thought. When you become angry, you are becoming angry with God. When you have complaints, you complain to God. So God is the final thing in your life. So that helps in growth of spirituality. Uh, a man cannot see God unless he gives his whole mind to Him. The mind is wasted on woman and gold. Take your own case. You have children and are occupied with the theater. The mind cannot be united with God on account of these different activities. So that's very practical, Sri Ramakrishna says, for the householder. It's very difficult. And the householders who are really love God, are devoted to God, he says, like a brave person having so much of load and yet enjoying the road, or something going on, jugglery going on the road, it having so much load on their head. So having the load of household, yet they enjoy love of God. They worship, they meditate, they try to detach themselves from the worldliness, from all the responsibilities, and they try to meditate on God, pray to God with full heart. So it is upon our ability how much mind we can give to God. And you have to give full mind to God. When you sit for prayer and meditation, one should try to think of God fully, keeping aside all your responsibilities, and not think of any of your responsibilities, not think of yourself even, about what happens to yourself and all that. They say, when you practice yoga, they say, always say to yourself, I am happy, I am happy, I am healthy. Say to yourself 3 times, I am happy. If you always think of your sickness and your unhappiness and tension, how will you feel joyful? So you have to feel joyful to gain joy in life. And God is the representation of that happiness or bliss. And to do that, separate yourself, detach yourself from daily worries and anxieties, for at least for some time. That much power the mind has to be trained, and mind has to be empowered with that training, that by your practice you can detach the mind from all your responsibility and ego, and put that mind in the thought of God. And God is the representation or symbol of bliss. And when you think of God, if detached, for you just don't allow your mind to think of God and think of world and think only of God, then there is the joy, feeling of happiness. That's what happens in meditation. If you have good meditation on your Ishta, then you come out so happy, so blissful for the time being. And if meditation is really very deep, that joy that you have acquired during meditation, that will linger whole day and will not be disturbed by, not only by your own thoughts of uncertainty, problems, anxiety, but even by the action of the world. World will put some action to you, but you feel like you become so strong. The joy that you have experienced in the morning becomes a shield for world to throw stones and mud sling on you. So you become immune to that because you have already experienced some joy of connecting with the divine bliss. So it depends on good meditation and good prayer. Those who really by a little word they become very reaction comes and mentally they get very disturbed. So that means still they have to go deeper into prayer and meditation. Then that immunity should come to not to be affected by the stones and mud that the world slings on us. Um, that depends on that. So Sri Ramakrishna says you should love God with all your mind. The mind cannot. You have to give. He gives his whole mind to him. That's what Sri Krishna says in the Gita. Ananyas chintayanto mam. You think of me. Chintayanto mam. How? Ananya. Without thinking anything else. In Judaism, it says, I am your jealous God. God is jealous. Same thing. God is not jealous. God is the God of all. That is, don't put your mind in the world. If you want to love and also love God, then your love for God will become less because you are already entangled in the worldliness. The jealous means I want your full attention, full heart, full mind. Jesus also said you cannot serve mammon and gold and God together. And also he said, love God with all your mind and all your heart and all your strength and all your soul. Love your God with all that. So whatever you try to fix your mind fully on God. So that we can do only during meditation time. And if we succeed to do that, in meditation time also mind is distracted. So if we succeed by practice, then that is done. That helps us. Other times, suppose only meditation time, you put full mind on God. And after that, you get up and do a samsara, kartabhya of samsara, this duty of samsara of the world. But that idea remains, that feeling comes with you the whole day. You are a different person the whole day. Your behavior is changed that day. You are not easily instigated to become angry or to become jealous, or your greed becomes all the passions become weak. Love of God makes all these passions become weakened in things. Everything becomes less powerful. You get more control over your passions. You become more free, with more independence, just by having thinking of God more strongly and trying to put your mind fully on God. As long as there is bhoga, there will be less of yoga. Bhoga and yoga, this would rhyme. So the more of yoga, less of bhoga. More of bhoga, less of yoga. Tulsidas also said, Jahan kam, tahan nahi ram. Where there is lust and desire, no God is there. So if you are God, you have to free from desire that entangles. What is desire? Or entanglement with the world and worldly things. So that is what the desire is. I want this, I want to possess this, I want to enjoy this. That is what the worldliness is. That is what Sri Ramakrishna says the proverbial this thing, Kamini Kanchana, Kama Kanchana. Or woman and gold is written that way. The desire to enjoy, desire to possess. So when that is controlled, then you find you reach God. Jahan kam taha nahi ram. And by controlling your desires and passions and loving God, you slowly move towards God. And God comes in your life. God becomes more prominent. Thinking of God is you find more joy. Earlier you used to think of something that you will enjoy. Now you enjoy thinking of God, praying to God, meditating on Him is more joyful than thinking of some smoothie or some nice food or any other enjoyment. So then God has come. And Tulsidas continues, Jahan Kam, Taha Nahi Ram, he said. Then he said, Jahan Ram, Taha Nahi Kam. When Ram has come, when God has come to your life, then there is no karma. All these passions are gone, weakened, not powerful. Totally going is difficult if we have ego, but they have become weakened enough, and they should be weak enough not to raise their heads again in any situation when there is a stimulation from the world. Still, the passions do not come. They are subdued, sublimated, and finally they have become no problem to us. So that's why he said, where there is yoga, there is no bhoga. As long as there is bhoga, there will be less of yoga. Furthermore, Bhoga begets suffering. Bhoga is not only enjoyment of the world. One person was told, a schoolgirl. So she was told that what Hinduism says. Hinduism says that there is a God, one God, and this life is a recycle, rebirth and death and birth and death and birth. And finally, there is a stage called moksha when one doesn't have to take birth. Then the question in that young girl, schoolgirl, was that why moksha is so great? Life is so wonderful. We see so beautiful world and we enjoy food and there is parents loving and friends going. All there is so much joy. Why to seek something beyond this? Why to seek moksha, not enjoying the things around us? Okay, you grow old, you get pain, you die. But again, there is a chance you are born and enjoy the world again. Because little girl doesn't have any idea of how much the world is suffering. It is all, she thinks it's all enjoyment alone. Enjoyment begets suffering. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. Bhoga brings suffering. When there is no suffering, only joy, only enjoyment, then there is no search for spirituality either. So only one thing is there, as Buddha saw. This is all timely, and there is a lot of suffering when you leave. It's not joy. There is old age, there is disease, there is death, there is suffering. So he could understand by seeing that. And to get rid of this suffering of humanity, this intrinsic, when you are born, suffering is there. So one has to find a way out of suffering, and that is the spirituality. Only spirituality can make us free from the suffering that we are born with, where the suffering will come to us. If bhoga begets suffering, that's what Sri Ramakrishna said. It is said in the Bhagavata that the Avadhuta chose a kite as one of his 24 gurus. The kite had a fish in its beak, so it was surrounded by 1,000 crows. Whichever way it flew with the fish, the crows pursued it, crying caw, caw. When all of a sudden the fish dropped from its beak, the crows flew after the fish, leaving the kite alone. The kite had caught a fish and he was going to eat it, and then he found he's surrounded by so many crows all around. Now they will not let it go and perch on a tree or nothing, always after this kite. So he didn't know why these crows are coming after me. And I am just going, I'm not disturbing them. Why should they pursue me and disturb me like that? So then he did know somehow the fish fell from his beak. And when fish fell from his beak, then all crow went away from him. So bhoga creates problem. Yoga, bhoga creates roga, and yoga makes you free from all roga. So that is what it is. Um, that's what it is said. Yoga, bhoga, and roga. So they say that there is a beautiful Hindi couplet. It says that at night, Pahala Prahar mein, there are 4 quarters of night. And in 4 quarters, there someone, I think who wrote, maybe Tulsidas Kabira. Pahla Prahar mein sab koi jage, दूसरा प्रहर में भोगी, तीसरा प्रहर में तस्कर जागे, चौथा प्रहर में जोगी. Meaning is, in the first quarter of the night, everyone keeps awake. If you say from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., the night you divide into 4 quarters. 6 to 9. 9 to 12, bhogis. They keep awake. From 12 to 3, taskar, thieves. That is the time, all will be sleeping, and we have to raid some house, break something, lock, and taskar jage. And from 3 to 6, early in the morning, who keeps awake? Yogi. Yogi means yogi, means a spiritual aspirant. They will get up early in the morning, take shower, sit for meditation, or go to have the visit the temple. That is their life begins early in the morning. Chauta prahar mein yogi. That's what the yoga is. Yoga will get rid of all our. There will be no need of yoga, and roga will also become less. Or if roga is there, it may be to the body, but it will not affect you. You can bear the suffering of the disease if you are a yogi. The Raja Yoga says, oh, you don't get disease and all that, but we have seen many great spiritual person having disease. Swami Vivekananda had diabetes, Sri Ramakrishna had cancer, so like that it may happen, but that doesn't disturb their mind. So that's what the yogi is. So yoga begets suffering. And when you get rid of the thing of yoga, you are free from all the things. The disturbance of problem coming to you, less problem when you have nothing. So that's what he says from the kite is a bird like an eagle. It's a kite are two types of kite. One is flown, the paper-made thing that is also called kite, and one is bird like an eagle, sort of eagle that is found in India. That's called kite. The fish is the object of enjoyment. The crows are worries and anxiety. Worries and anxiety are inevitable with enjoyment. No sooner does one give up enjoyment than one finds peace. What is more, money itself becomes a source of trouble. Brothers may live happily, but they get into trouble when the property is divided. Dogs lick one another's bodies. They are perfectly friendly. But when the householder throws them a little food, they get into a scrap. So, like that, he gives the example of when food is given, something is given, there is always battle and crying. And this is so common. Sri Ramakrishna says in 1884 that this money thing divides even the brothers and sisters. I have seen some brothers and sisters very, very devoted to Thakur. Both brother and sister live. They both are in Canada. Live in different cities, quite 2,000 miles apart. But they don't talk. Somehow, brother thinks the sister will ask for the share of ancestral property that is in Asia. Here they live, no property here. The brother somehow thinks sister will ask her portion if I am there, with thinking that he is not talking with the sister. So just thinking of the wealth to grab all the wealth, which is in Asia, where he is not going to go away, that makes him so separate from his dear sister. And sisters, I met sister also. Sister says, Swami, I don't have any greed for that. Really, she's very nice. So I don't have anything. I don't know how he thought that I will ask for the portion. But all this wonderful living together, growing together, how this came? Because of property, because of wealth, because of object of enjoyment and possession. That is the cause of all the things. So Sri Ramakrishna says, when brothers divide, then always there is that thing. Oh, he is getting more. He's getting the better portion of the house, or he's getting the more. This parent give him more money because he has two children. I have one child, but should be given equal. But grandfather thought that their three children he had to love. He doesn't earn money. Always that who is a little weaker. Sympathy comes that, but that makes brotherly relation still a stranger, still stringent. So that's how this relation all depends on the property little, which is insignificant, doesn't matter at all. But ego is such a thing, it doesn't even see the value of the thing, how much it will be there, how much it will be useful. Nothing. But why should I be deprived? It is injustice. Swami, I should fight for injustice. Even Krishna said, fight to Arjuna, fight for the justice. Why are you saying me not to fight this? But how much you gain? After all, he is or she is your brother or she is your sister. So let that person have the property. Why do you worry for that? So that is the problem with the wealth, property, money. That is very dangerous thing. So our Shankaracharya said very early that like 8th century, he said, Artham anartham bhavaya nityam. The artha is anartha. The money is the source of all trouble. So all that you always be aware of that. It said nityam. Think always that artha is anartha. Possession, becoming rich and all. The money itself becomes a source of trouble, Sri Ramakrishna said. Money, to a certain degree, is essential for us survival, to give us food. And what Sri Ramakrishna, what money gives us food, clothing, shelter. That is the thing. That is the purpose of money. When there is element of greed comes in this thing, you want to look like more rich person and start accumulating money. And for what? You are getting the same thing. You sleep in the same room, you sleep in the same bed. Now perhaps you want to buy a house in Mumbai or Bengaluru because you have money, you want to have more money, then like that. So this such desires start coming. If you have more money, there's some apartment in New York, I should have that because all rich persons. Then more money, then you say, oh, then you start thinking how much Bill Gates has money, how much Sundar Pichai earns, so I should start competing like that. So this money thing always makes you worried. All your this earth wealth is like that. Sri Ramakrishna says wonderful story, if you have heard that, the story of seven jars. So one king had a barber. He used to be very happy, very joyful, happy. Barbers generally in India, they come to the people and they talk very nicely. They very talk wonderfully and seems to be always happy, entertaining the person to talk, and in the meantime diverting the mind. Because sometimes, no, when they shave beard, they may cut the thing, so they have to keep engage the person, client from with different stories and all that. So they are a lot of talkative talk. They talk like that thing. Even in hospital, when you have something done like cutting the stitch, they will divert your mind. Otherwise, you feel pain. This mind, when goes away, there is no pain. So like that, this king's barber was very happy, nice. And suddenly, king noticed that barber is sad, anxious, not coming time, becoming thin, very worried. Then he asked one day to barber, "Hey, did you get seven jars?" So, seven jars of gold. So he said, "Yes, but how do you know? I found that in the forest. How do you know?" Actually, I had also got. Then what happened to you has happened to me also. Six were full of gold, one was only half full, the seventh one. Now this thing came to him, let me make the seventh also full of gold. Then I will have seven jars full of gold, big jars. And he started putting whatever gold, Barbara, how much you will have money? Putting, then bought some loan. He want to fill that jar to say, I have seven. Not to say anyone. He cannot say to anyone because thief will come. So he had brought that at night time from forest. But to have the self joy to have, I have seven jars full of gold. Barber and his wife both. So all was done. Then he took loan. Then he asked some money from king, and all him bought gold. And that seven jar, whatever gold it puts in that, it ever remains half. It doesn't come up at all. The gold doesn't come. It was a magical jar. So it never was to be filled with all the things. King said, Barber, you are just how much you learn. I am a king. I own whole kingdom. I have treasury. I tried to fill that jar. It never got filled anything. It always remained half. Even I put all the gold of my treasury. So it is magical jar. It is not full. It is the jar of desires. If you want happiness, send all seven jars to the forest. Go and keep. I did the same thing. I put all the seven jars in the forest. Not one jar, not only half jar. Send all seven jars. Because artham anartham bhavaya nityam. He had not read Shankaracharya. So many people we read, but we don't think also. We are caught again into this greed for money. This is a very, money is such a thing. Little power if utilized well, but the greed thing comes in between. I want to have more and more. And by having money, you will not be satisfied. So that Bhartrihari, no, not Bhartihari, Ayati. Ayati king was a king who wanted to enjoy the world. And he enjoyed full world with bravery and all that, and everything he got, whatever he wanted. And after that, one day he found he growing old. Growing old, my time of enjoyment gone. And then he really was old. And then I will die. So I am not satisfied, fully enjoyed the world. Then even he was so much desirous of enjoying the world and the things. Then he asked his sons will you exchange our age? You take my age and give me your age. Once he wants to be young again to enjoy the world. So all other sons refuse. Why can they become old? Why will they become old before they are old already? But one son said, I will try it. I will, for your happiness, I'm ready to sacrifice my youthful days. So it is done. So Yayati became young again, and his young son became old, and yeah, he started enjoying the life again. Eating this, seeing, eating, walking, hunting, all the things, all sorts of enjoyment. And again, time passed by. The son died much earlier because he was already old. So he also became old after a few years. Then he finds that his desire to enjoy the world has not diminished. It is same. That time his wisdom came, wisdom bloomed, and he said beautiful words. Najatu kama kamanam upabhogena samyati. The desire, the lust or desire to enjoy is not fulfilled by enjoying the objects of desire. That will never satisfy. Like fire in flames will never be satisfied by pouring ghee to it. Fire loves ghee. Hmm? Avisha Krishna Vartmeva Bhuya Eva Bhibhardate. More you give ghee, it blazes forth and wants more. Give me more. You cannot satisfy. Fire will not say, I am satisfied. You have poured 1 tin of ghee to me. Now don't, I'm satisfied. I don't want anything. Fire will not say that way. Like that is the desire of human being. Desire to become rich, desire to earn money is also one of the desires. So desire never gets satisfied. That story of Sri Ramakrishna said, money begets trouble if you are a greedy person. Greed is the problem. Money is not the problem. Problem is greed. That's what it says. Then he says to actor, come here now and then, pointing to him and others. They come here on Sundays and other holidays. So this much we'll do today. After that, Sri Ramakrishna will give certain instruction to actors. Still, he has some question. So Sri Ramakrishna thought perhaps they will leave because they had done the acting whole night and they took rest early in the morning. And so this actor, the one who did the part of the name of the actor is not given in Bengali gospel. His name is given as Vidya because he did the role of Vidya, and Vidya is a woman. The actor Vidya is now given. Sundar is a man, and Vidya is the woman. Prince and princess. That is the thing. So we close with this today, and with the closing chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagat Gurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Thank you and good night to you all, and see you next Friday in person as well as online.